I was just lying in bed, minding my own business, trying to get through a book that had been sitting on my shelf forever. You know how it is. You tell yourself you'll read it, but it just gathers dust until one random night. Anyway, I was flipping through the pages, barely making sense of the words because, honestly, who reads properly at that hour? It was like the letters were swimming or something. Everything was quiet except for the occasional sound of my cat, Pickles, who was curled up at the foot of the bed. She was usually a lazy lump, just snoozing away. But that night she had been acting weird. Her ears kept twitching and she was staring at random corners of the room. I figured she was just being a cat, mysterious and weird as usual. So there I was, flipping pages without really reading when it happened. The closet door, the one right across from the bed, made a sound. Not a loud slam or anything, just a soft creak. The kind you hear in scary movies right before the bad stuff starts happening. I stopped. My hand froze mid-turn of the page. Pickles. "Did you hear that?" I whispered, as if she was going to answer me. She did something better. She hissed, full on, ears back, angry hiss, and bolted under the covers like the coward she was. "Great. Thanks for the support, Pickles." I stared at the closet door. It was open. Not wide open, just a crack. But it hadn't been open before. I knew it hadn't. I always made sure it was shut because, let's be honest, closets were creepy at night. And now, it was just sitting there, slightly ajar, like it was daring me to get up and check. But then, this was the part that really got to me. I heard it. A whisper. Faint, like someone was trying to tell me a secret but didn't want anyone else to hear. I couldn't make out the words. It was just this soft, raspy sound, like wind brushing through dry leaves. I froze completely. I couldn't move, couldn't even breathe properly. My brain was doing that thing where it tried to logic its way out of the situation, like, "It's just the wind," or "You're imagining it." But nothing about it felt like imagination. "Okay, no big deal," I said out loud, more to myself than anything. "Probably just, I don't know, airflow, loose hinge?" But my voice didn't even sound convincing to me. I sat there for what felt like forever, staring at the crack in the door, half expecting something, anything, to come crawling out. My heart was racing so fast it felt like it was trying to burst out of my chest. Pickles, the traitor, stayed completely silent under the covers. Finally, because apparently I had zero survival instincts, I decided to get up and check. "All right," I muttered, swinging my legs off the bed. "Let's just get this over with." The floor felt cold under my feet, which somehow made everything worse. Step by step, I inched closer to the closet, every creak of the floorboards making me jump a little. When I was finally in front of the door, I reached out to push it open all the way. My hand was shaking so badly I could barely grip the edge of the door. "Okay," I whispered to myself, "just a closet. Nothing scary, just clothes and stuff. Maybe a shoebox or two." I pushed the door open. It was dark inside. Of course it was. I fumbled around for the light switch, but my fingers were too sweaty and I couldn't find it right away. My eyes started to adjust a little, and for a second I thought I saw something. Just a shadow, maybe. But it was moving. I finally found the light switch and flipped it on. The bulb flickered, which was just fantastic because, that wasn't ominous at all. There was nothing there, just my clothes hanging neatly and some shoes on the floor. "See?" I said, trying to convince myself more than anything. "Nothing, absolutely nothing." But as I was standing there, staring into the closet, I swore I felt this cold breeze on the back of my neck. I whipped around, but there was nothing there, just my empty room, the bed, and the lump that was Pickles hiding under the blanket. I laughed nervously, trying to shake off the weird feeling. "You're losing it," I muttered. "Too many late nights, that's all." I closed the closet door, this time making sure it clicked shut, and headed back to bed. But as soon as I sat down, I heard it again. That whisper. Only this time, it was louder. And it wasn't coming from the closet anymore. It was coming from under the bed. My blood ran cold. I didn't even want to move, but my stupid brain was like, "You have to look, you have to see." "Pickles?" I called out, hoping she would magically appear and somehow make all of it less terrifying. She didn't. Instead, I heard a soft scraping sound from under the bed, like something was moving. Against every ounce of common sense I had left, I leaned over the edge of the bed, slowly lifting the blanket to peek underneath, and that was when I saw it. Two eyes, glowing faintly in the dark. I scrambled back so fast I almost fell off the bed. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. I didn't think, I just ran. I bolted out of the bedroom, not stopping until I was in the living room. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely grab my keys from the table. I was ready to throw the door open and get the hell out of there when it hit me. Pickles. She was still in the bedroom. For a second, I was frozen. Every instinct I had screamed at me to just leave, to get out while I still could, but I couldn't. I had promised. Pickles had belonged to her, my late girlfriend. She made me promise to take care of her before she passed. "She's your responsibility now," she had said with that weak, tired smile, and I had sworn I would. I couldn't leave her, not like that. Taking a deep, shaky breath, I gripped the keys tighter in my hand and turned back toward the bedroom. The hallway felt longer than it ever had before. Every step echoed in my ears, the sound bouncing off the walls like a taunt. My legs were trembling, but I forced myself to keep moving. When I got to the door, my hand hovered over the doorknob. It felt like if I opened this door, something would reach out and pull me inside, and that would be the end of it. But then I thought about Pickles, about how she was probably terrified, hiding under the covers. "Okay," I whispered to myself, swallowing hard. "You've got this. Just grab the cat and get out. Easy." I pushed the door open slowly, bracing myself for I didn't even know what. The room looked the same as before, dim, quiet, nothing out of place. "Pickles," I called softly. My voice cracked, which was super helpful for my confidence. There was no response. The bed looked undisturbed, the lump where Pickles had been hiding still there under the blanket. I stepped inside, each movement feeling like I was walking into a trap. The air felt different now, like it was trying to choke me, making it harder to breathe. "Pickles, come on," I said, louder this time. "We're getting out of here." I reached for the blanket and pulled it back, expecting her to dart out and make the whole thing easier. But she wasn't there. The lump under the blanket was just a pillow. My heart sank. I looked around the room frantically, hoping to catch a glimpse of her somewhere. Maybe she had crawled under the bed again? I knelt down, every fiber of my being screaming not to do it, but I had no choice. "Pickles?" I whispered, lifting the blanket to peek underneath. Nothing, just darkness. And then, faintly, I heard it again, that whisper. It was coming from the closet this time. My stomach dropped. I had shut that door. I knew I had. But now, it was wide open. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to know. But my feet were moving on their own, dragging me closer. The closet was pitch black inside, like it was swallowing all the light in the room. I didn't even bother reaching for the switch this time. I just stared into the darkness, hoping, praying, that I'd see Pickles trot out, safe and sound. Instead, I saw movement. Something was shifting in the shadows. And then I heard the whisper again, clearer this time. It wasn't just random noise. It was saying my name. "Get out!" I managed to choke out, my voice barely audible. The movement stopped. For a second, everything was completely still, and then I saw them, those same eyes, glowing faintly, staring out at me from the darkness of the closet. I stumbled back, tripping over myself and crashing to the floor, my head spun, my breath coming in short gasps. And then I heard it. A soft meow. I whipped my head around and saw Pickles sitting by the door, her tail swishing lazily like nothing was wrong. "Pickles!" I cried, scrambling to my feet. I scooped her up without even thinking, holding her close as she let out a confused little chirp. "Let's go," I muttered, clutching her tight. "We're done here." I didn't look back as I bolted out of the room, down the hallway and out the front door. The cold night air hit me like a slap, but it was the best feeling I'd ever had. I didn't stop running until I was in my car, Pickles still in my arms. I sat there for a long time, the engine running, just trying to catch my breath. Pickles nuzzled into my chest, purring softly like she was trying to calm me down. I glanced back at the house, half expecting to see something staring at me from the window. But it was just dark and empty. That night, I made a decision. I wasn't going back there. Ever. I packed up what I could the next morning, grabbed Pickles, and left. I moved out of that crappy apartment as fast as I could. I didn't even look back. I stayed with my parents for a bit. They were happy to have me, and I figured it would be good to have some time to reset, to figure things out without having to deal with whatever that was. They didn't ask many questions, which was just as well. I wasn't ready to explain what had happened. A few months later, I found a place near my parents'. It was a small place, but it was perfect. Quiet, safe, no weird creaks or whispers in the night, no eyes staring at me from dark closets. I settled in, and I actually felt like I could breathe again. I never experienced anything like that again, not even close. That's it for now. I hope you enjoy this story. If you did, check out more of my videos on the screen above or visit my channel for even more. Don't forget to subscribe for future videos. Stay safe and take care.